Los Federales with $1 says, let's start the show off on the right foot. Okay. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, that's Joe Biden went, my God, Donald, there's people in there. There's people in there.
We want the gold, sucker. Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, nigga.
That just kind of fit, if you ask me. Atomic Ray with $3 says this segment about Kiki is long-winded like a girl. Just end this with Kiki is a woman. We will understand. Let's play. Now, I asked this morning, I said, does anyone kind of know about this Melonie Mac thing? And people were like, yeah, she's a grifter. She's complaining about video games and this and that. And I've been looking into it since last week, and I can't find like good clips. I can't find like articles or anything good like that. It's just a lot of people talking shit on Twitter. So apparently, from what I gather, Melonie Mac used to be someone who liked to say the gay F word, and she was anti-SJW and fuck these SJWs, and gay is not the way and all that shit. Then she's like super Christian gal. She's like super Christian chick. Now she's fucking with video games. And I would like to give everybody a friendly tip about being on the internet. Don't just leave gamers alone. Leave comic book people alone. It's a recipe for disaster. You're gonna lose. They're very mean. They're incredibly persistent. And here's the other thing about gamers. Here's why I think people should leave gamers the fuck alone. They're not out there bothering anybody. Like, gamers aren't going out there and fucking with people. Gamers aren't going out there going, put our video games in your shit. Put our video games on your stuff. Video gamers literally just want to kick back and play their games. That's it. Then these fucking broads come in. And these fucking broads go in there and they go, well, I don't think that women should be objectified this way. And they should. Shut the fuck. Like, nobody asked you. They just want to play their fucking video games. They're not hurting you. They're not bothering anybody. Let them do it. That, and as All You Can Eat Negro says, they're sociopaths. They're dangerous people. Whatever I have to say about gamers that is critical is not worth saying, because I don't want to feel the heat that's going to come back at me, because I'm not as emotionally invested in their hobby as they are. So if I want to go in and I want to have this big to-do and this big back and forth, they're going to kick the shit out of me because they have way more passion about it. Whereas Melonie Mac is like, I think it's sinful to have lusty video games. And no, but here's the problem with people like Melonie Mac. She comes out with these hot takes. And I'm not necessarily against hot take culture. That kind of makes the world go round. I'm part of it, you know? But say like a Stephen A. Smith. When Stephen A. Smith gives you a hot take on Lamar Jackson after this weekend's playoff games, it's because somebody paid him and asked him, what do you think about Lamar Jackson after the playoffs this weekend? And he gives you his hot take. Melonie Mac comes out like a fucking autist and goes, I don't think video games should be lustful. And everyone in gaming looks around and goes, bitch, who the fuck asked you? Like, who asked you to comment on our fucking video games and whether or not what is she going to be, like your middle school guidance counselor and just measure if you're showing too much midriff or if there's too much cleavage or if your shoulders are exposed, you're wearing spaghetti straps? Like, fuck off and let people play video games. All right? I've seen the asses now in those football pants in Madden. It's detrimental to our youth. So now I think this Melonie Mac thing has grifter written all over it, but it was a failed grift, and it'll be interesting to see kind of what she falls back on. Now, Chrissy has come out and defended Melonie Mac and said, oh, if you guys want to judge her so harshly, here's the things Christians aren't allowed to do, and if you think she's a bad Christian, then you're a bad Christian, and I'm a bad Christian, and this and that. Well, then Keanu goes on Simpcast and starts laying into Melonie Mac. And I was waiting for Chrissy to do a little pushback like a good show host does. A little bit of pushback, either defend your friend or go, you know what, Keanu, I agree. Fuck this Melonie Mac, blah, blah, blah. Chrissy just kind of sat there and mm-hmmed it. You know, this is the same Chrissy that had no problem sweeping for a guy who gave his child cocaine. She actively swept for a guy who gave his child cocaine. And I'll admit, I don't let this go, claims that I'm the one that corrupted him. And to be fair, fuck Chrissy Mayer for that. Not eternally, not forever, not she's dead to me or anything like that. But that was a fucking Bush League move. That was an amateur move. She knows it was an amateur move. I know it was an amateur move. But she doesn't defend anybody on that show. Let's watch the Keanu clip here. This is Keanu, and thank you, Misery Loves Clips. I'm going to send you $10 after the show. If I don't, hold my fucking feet to the fire on that. $10 I always pay to Clippers when I use their stuff. This is Keanu on Simpcast with Lila Hart, who I like very much. Obviously, met her, hung out with her that weekend. She's a really, really kind person. And then I don't know who the other person here is. They're down in the corner. This is Keanu on Simpcast. And may I say, Keanu and Chrissy are friends. Kudos to Keanu for knowing how Chrissy feels about this Melonie Mac and still having the fucking balls to have an opinion anyway. Let me take myself out of the equation here so you can see Keanu.
Like that.
She's a lady that found the Lord, and she is like, there are things. She calls herself, there are a lot of Christians that aren't biblically Christian or what have you. And
I will say,
now wait a minute. What the now, is that Keanu saying that or Melonie Mac saying that? There aren't Christians that are biblically Christian? Then what the fuck are you? That is the biggest load of horse shit I've ever heard in my life. That's, you know what that is? I want to be a Christian, but I want to have an excuse as to why my ass and titties are out. Well, I'm just not biblically Christian. Huh, weird. You know where, I had this idea. Correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't Christianity come from the fucking Bible? So how can you can't be anything but a biblical Christian. You can be a failed Christian. You can fall short in the eyes of God. Lord knows everybody does. But to say that you're not a biblical Christian is just a bullshit, eat as much as you want and don't gain weight diet plan. I'm a Christian, but I'm not a biblical Christian. Fuck, get the fuck out of here with the not a biblical Christian.
And I'm going to call it a grift. It is being shockingly like it's.
Oh, Ashton Birdie. So it's Ashton Birdie, Chrissy, Lila, and Keanu. And I think Keanu is, I think she's found a set of balls because she's really been getting after it. I didn't, Kiwi Farms was accusing me. I was reading the Farms, love the Farms, but got real critical on me saying I'm drip feeding shit. Like this, I got no more stories for you guys. I got nothing else. My numbers reflect that. I got no other stories other than stuff that happens from now on. New shit. I wasn't drip feeding the nitrous thing. I was telling you that story third person, second hand, third hand maybe. I always considered that Keanu's story to tell. She asked me not to talk about it, so I didn't talk about it. I figured once she talked about it, then it was all right for me to talk about that conversation. But until then, proving that Aaron can keep his mouth shut sometimes. And that kind of annoyed me too, because they're like, yeah, just drip feeding shit. It's like, well, which one is it? Can I not keep my fucking mouth shut? Or am I trickling shit out there? In this instance, I actually kept my fucking mouth shut. I didn't say the thing that someone told me not to say. And then when they came out with it, I go, oh, well, if we're coming out with it, here's what she told me. Here's what I know. I thought people might appreciate that. And God damn it, I was wrong. So let's continue on here. Keanu getting after it on Chrissy's show. Chrissy Mayer, hours before, had just defended Melonie Mac on Twitter.
The word perversion, it's the F-slur videos. It's not just like, paging Dr. Haggett. It's, that's hilarious, right?
That was an uncomfortable laugh.
It's more, you know what I'm tired of? Haggetts. Or, Haggetts should stay in the closet, or nobody wants to get daddies, right? Which isn't very Christ-like, okay?
Right. They're talking about the previous tweets and the previous things. This is where I agree with Keanu. You can't just keep saying, well, people evolve. Oh, people evolve, people change. That's true. From like 22 to 35, I think Melonie Mac's 40? From 22 to 40, yeah, you can change. But you don't fucking have I say the gay F word to criticize gay people to, I'm a good Christian and I don't judge in 3 years, 2 years, whatever it is. That's not a change. That's a grift. You went with the hardline Christian conservative gay F word shit to be edgy, to be, to walk that line. Then when that money and that audience dried up, now you're going to try and jump to something else. Oh, we shouldn't have temptation in video games and we shouldn't have tantalizing to fucking hell. A lot of gamers are coomers, okay? There's nothing you can do about that. They're just trying to feed their audience. You don't change that quickly, and Keanu's right about that.
That's right. So people
and I think people can also change their minds too.
It's not change their mind. And I think Ashton's great too, but it's not change your mind. It's see which way the winds are blowing, and then go. I hate that. I mean, admit you're doing it, and then I won't hate it. If you just admit you're doing it, like I've said this about Patrick, like as long as you just admit, look, my show was failing, I had nothing, Aaron had a bigger audience, so I grabbed onto him, and now if it's not steel toe, I'm fucked. Admit that. That's fine. Otherwise, there's just a baseline dishonesty, and we'll all laugh at you for that.
Annoying, to me at least, but
you think it's a grift?
The grift? Yeah, absolutely. Do you think Jesus would be like, nobody wants to get daddies?
I mean, she's got her there. Like that was Chrissy's most pushback she gave for her friend. And like, I don't want to hear this shit where you're like, well, Keanu's my friend too. So you can stand up to your friend on behalf of your other friend and give her side of things. Is your friendship with this other person so fragile that if you disagree with her on this one thing, you're not going to be friends anymore? Well, in that case, you got work to do. But like, if I'm Melonie Mac on this, I'm like, hey, Chrissy, didn't you just go on Twitter and give me this big multi-tweet defense of how, he who is without sin should cast the first stone and all this other shit? Now Keanu's in here calling me a dishonest grifter. And it's okay, Melonie, I've been there too with old Kiki. But here's Keanu saying this shit about your friend that you just defended, and now you're pretending that, it sounds reasonable. Boy, I wouldn't, if I had to be defended publicly on something that was questionable, Chrissy Mayer would not be one of the first 10 people I'd call.
Like, that's a grift.
He probably wouldn't say that. No, but
he did. You remember that?
No, I mean, I'm answering you. I'm like, I don't think Jesus would say that.
No, right. And also, I'm sorry, there's nothing gayer than Jesus. He hung out with 12 dudes and.
Whoa. I mean, look, Keanu, we can make our point about Melonie Mac minus the blasphemy. There's nothing gayer than Jesus. I mean, have you met the 80s? Freddie Mercury, perhaps. Milo. I'm just throwing a few out there. There's a lot of things gayer than Jesus.
Washed their feet all the time. So I don't know. Like, excuse me, but there's nothing gayer than Jesus. I just got to tell Melonie, after that video, I had to unfollow her like a couple of months ago because I'm tired of feeling like I'm going to burst into flames. Me and my loved ones are every time.
Wait, she was doing the gay F word shit a few months ago and now she's lecturing on video games? Yeah, that's not a people change thing. That's a full-on, hey, let me see if I can jump to this audience and grab a few people. Let me see if I can jump to this audience. And maybe Chrissy wants to defend that, and Chrissy doesn't want to go after that because Chrissy kind of did that. Chrissy went from feminist LGBTQ person to, hey, I'm Trump January 6th, And then, hey, comics, am I right, guys? Hey, video game, am I right, guys? I mean... There, but for the grace of God, go I, maybe Chrissy's thinking.
I'm going to look at her Twitter. I respect what she's doing. Do I really? You know what? No, I don't.
I will say,
here's the other thing. Chrissy doesn't get to defend Melonie Mac by saying, oh, she changed. This is the same Chrissy that just went after, not Sarah Silverman, Whitney Cummings, for saying that she might be getting a little red-pilled. Yeah, it's too late. You had a chance to get the jab. Motherfucker, you ain't the gatekeeper on this shit. And then when Melonie Mac turns out to be a grifter, same thing as what you're accusing Whitney Cummings of doing, well, then she's okay because she came on your show once.
Look, I
Like,
like
no,
no,
all right, you want to bitch about the video games and call, like, it a perversion? Sorry, girlfriend. Jesus was probably gay. He washed men's feet.
He
It's
wasn't
enough.
gay,
People
I don't
evolve.
think.
He could have been.
Chrissy with a big pushback right there. Big pushback. You'll defend a guy whose 9-year-old tested positive for cocaine. But you won't stand up for Melonie Mac. Oh, wait, that's right. That guy was just corrupted by me. The guy who was gone for 6 weeks and didn't get arrested for that. Yeah, right. Yeah. That's what I forgot. See, I'm kind of stupid like that.
Who do you know that he cares about his 12 best friends? And you want to see your 12 best male
just-
friends
they
before
were-
you try and watch their
Keanu, you need to do this as a bit on stage. It's really funny.
This should be a
I'm
bit.
telling you,
It
I've
should
been
be.
thinking about this a lot.
Girls,
and she
girls,
was probably the
girls.
only person I've ever unfollowed on Twitter.
Girls, let's take it easy on this.
We want the gold, sucker.
Stop doing that. Girls, let's take it easy on the this should be a stand-up bit thing. As someone who lives in the Midwest, I don't think it would fly in most of the... Hey, you know what? There's a difference between Bill Burr having an HBO special and him being able to craft that bit. There's a difference between that and going into a Midwest comedy club and going, Jesus was queer. Am I right? I don't know. I don't think so. NoPen15 Fathead with $2 says Jesus didn't eat. Is that what you took from that? Is that what you took from that? CJ with $2 says you couldn't possibly be less prepared for a segment. Oh, yeah? Watch me. I could be way less prepared for a segment. Are you questioning the unprofessionalism of this program? Dive Bar with $5 says for the dishonest grift account. Oh, thank you. Yes. All your dishonest grift dollars. Send them right here. That puts us what? Thank you guys. 160 away from today. Funeral director with $2 says I find the two girls funnier than Canoe. To be honest, hashtag sunk. Somebody sent a text to the show line today and told me that Gino was on MLC and that it was content gold. I missed it. Sam Show says, Kino Casino covered this so well, and you're just like, me to know any good coverage. Well, no, I didn't say any good coverage. I meant like good video in terms of like news-like, breaking it down step by step. I don't want to just copy Kino Casino's video and do their takes. If I watch Kino Casino's takes, then I might as well not have my own. I would rather just watch something that explains the whole thing. I read enough about it today where I saw what the accusation was. I saw what people were saying about it. And I did see people trying to make her age a part of it. Like, oh, if you're 40, you can't do this. I didn't really think that was a valid argument. I just don't think you can go with the gay F word shit and then be like, oh, we have to be modest, and then lecture porn stars on whether or not they're going to receive the kingdom of Christ. And like, who yells out Jesus more than a porn star, you know? Fair. But yeah, the whole thing was, it's all silliness.